Buenas. This is the You Live Where podcast. My name is Diego, and I've been an expat for 10 years now. Best 10 years ever. So in my time of being an expat, I've come across a lot of people who are very interested in my lifestyle or doing something similar to what it is that I'm doing. So the way that I could add value to your lives is by having conversations with people who are expats, who own homes overseas, or who have been on the road for a really long time. So today's conversation is with a guy named Jason. He's been living in Nicaragua for a few years now. Very informative, has a lot of information for you guys, so enjoy. All right, Jason, thanks to have you on, man. This is awesome. Glad to have you here.
Glad to have you over.
Awesome. All right, so I guess what I want to know is how did it start? When did you decide maybe that you'd be open to the idea of having a house in another country? Like, when did it hit you? Like, you know what? Fuck, I'll think about something.
Well, I didn't travel a lot when I was a kid, at least out of country. My dad was Army, so we moved around a lot. But at some point, I ended up going in my young adult life around to Mexico and visited and enjoyed that experience. And then later on, probably about 20 years ago, maybe went and visited Costa Rica and really liked the laid-back, natural feel of Costa Rica. It's a different kind of a place. And just didn't really, and you know, when you go somewhere out of the country and you're curious about what the, what's the real estate cost here, and what would it cost to live here, you know, so you just kind of, I was just kind of curious and looked into it a little bit, but then totally forgot about it. You know, I'm back in my U.S. world and business and, you know, thinking about different things. So, but then I got involved with a guy that we did some work with him in our business, and he wanted me to move him to Nicaragua. And I was like, why would you move to Nicaragua? What are you doing? He's like, I'm going to build a 5-story condo building down in Nicaragua. I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm in the moving and storage business. He was looking for some help to get his goods to Nicaragua. So, you know, we helped him out. I got the overseas containers, the shipping all arranged, sent all this stuff to Managua. And, you know, in the meantime, we talked a little bit. And he's like, you need to come check this place out. I think you'll really like it. Maybe you'll want to buy one of my condos I'm building. So, you know, I thought, okay, well, we'll go check it out. And came down, really just fell in love with the place. We came in at night. Went to a place in Pocho Mill, woke up the next morning on a beach in this little bungalow with a guy cutting off a coconut right outside of our window. I'm like, what's that noise? This guy's got a big old machete. He's out there cutting a coconut off a tree. And it was just a really cool experience. You know, they had some local guys down there working in this little resort, and they were, you know, entertained us in the pool, games in the pool. We go out on the beach and play soccer, which I played soccer my whole life, so I love that. Playing soccer with the local Nicaraguans on the beach.
Yeah, that's an experience.
Yeah, it was a blast. Really enjoyed it, and wanted to come back and look into maybe buying a condo. So that's how it all started and drew our interest. And you know, having that connection with this guy coming here kind of opened our eyes to it. And
so you saw somebody else doing it, making it a reality, and you thought, if he can do it, I can do it type deal?
Yeah, kind of. Just him opening our eyes to even the possibility of, you know, coming to Nicaragua. You know, I never would have thought to come to Nicaragua, but it's an amazing place for sure.
So you packed up for this guy a ton of stuff and sent it down here for him? How was that? Was that easy? Was that a pain? I know you're in the business, so it makes it easier for you, but was that easy?
We do international shipping. I mean, so I had a freight forwarder that we dealt with, and, you know, we arranged the container with them. They send the container, we do an inventory of all of his goods and, you know, pack it all up and load it all into the container securely, and, you know, a truck picks it up, takes it to the port, and they put it on a ship and ship it down.
On this end, was it easy? On this end, did you have everything? Did it come through?
Yeah, because the shipping company, they set up all the transportation part of it to get it to Managua, which is only about an hour and a half from here, hour and a half, depending on where in Managua you go. So, and then when it arrives there, it goes through their customs process, and, you know, that's the point of the inventory. You have to have a very detailed inventory in Spanish of what you're bringing in, so that they can review the inventory, compare it to what's in the container, and you know, then when they release the goods, a local trucking company. The customer actually hired a local trucking company to come and bring it and
Here
put it
in
in their
Nicaragua,
house.
a local
Yeah,
trucking company, and they picked everything up and brought it right out here?
they did. They did. Delivered it all into their house for them.
So it's just a straightforward process.
It
It's what
is.
you would think it'd be. All
It
right.
is.
Okay. Cool. So, all right, you came down to Nicaragua. How did you start? This guy had these condos. How did you start looking about coming here? How did it start going from there? Did this guy end up building these condos? What happened? What was the next step
Yeah.
after you thought about it?
So it just became a thing where I did go ahead at that point and probably within a month invested in one of the condos that he was building. So we did that, and then even while during the construction process, we would come down probably twice a year for 2 weeks at a time when the kids were on their school vacations, that kind of thing, and really just kind of got to know the place. I say got to know the place. It was more getting to know inside the resort area of this Grand Pacifica that we live in. We would come and stay here,
Okay.
and then maybe going out to some of the tourist areas, to like a Granada or a San Juan del Sur, things like that, doing some touristy things. But not really getting to know locals, not getting to know Nicaraguans necessarily. That's just how it all started. And then, when the economies all over the world hit hard times in 2008, 9, 10, things really kind of slowed down here. We ended up actually switching our money over in 2012 to purchasing a home here. And we're able to spend a little more time because all the delays in construction with the funding of the condominiums.
Okay.
We
So your
wanted
initial
to get a place.
investment was towards the condo. Things got murky there, and then you decided to go with the house because
Sure.
you just fell in love with the spot. You
Yeah.
just was like,
Yeah, we
because you
loved
said
the
you mentioned
resort.
you were coming for a couple of weeks prior to, but
Yes, and initially, there was a concern of safety. I mean, you arrive to a country like this, it has a bad rap because of old government stuff, and you're a little nervous and you're not sure what to expect from locals or the government or police or anything like that. So we were spending a lot of time in the resort, and so we felt comfortable with the security of the gate and the security guards and things like that, of being inside of a controlled resort like that. But the more time that I've spent in Nicaragua and getting out and getting to know the locals, maybe would have been maybe even a better decision not to be within the gates, because the people outside the gates are maybe a lot cooler than they are inside the gates. But it's a very interesting place, and my time here has just grown to be so much more rewarding, being involved with the outside communities.
we're going to get to that, but you definitely are involved in a lot of the outside
Yes.
community stuff. We'll get there.
Okay.
So you came down and you fell in love with 2 weeks. Then you guys decided to purchase the house, right?
Yeah, or condo in the beginning, but yeah, then
The house.
they changed that.
When you went through with the house and the purchase of it and the build, and dude, that's overwhelming for some people. What was that? Where do you start with that, right? Okay, so I want to purchase this house. Did you use an attorney? Did this place set you up? How did that go? Was it smooth?
Yeah, being within a resort property is probably a lot easier process in the beginning because we didn't know any attorneys, we didn't know who to contact, and so that support was there
Okay.
already and made that process pretty easy. And the house that we bought was about 80% complete, so we hired a contractor, which we found through the guy that I moved here, to finish up the other 20% of the home.
Okay.
And in the beginning, it was just the home with a yard in the back, all grass. And then later, we hired that same contractor to build a pool and a pool house, garage, outdoor shower, laundry room, that kind of thing.
So,
And then that was
so
easy.
basically, it all came through the institution, the place, the Grand Pacifica, basically set all that up for you. And they were like, "Here's this guy."
They
this guy,
did.
this guy. Okay.
They
all
did.
right.
So
So made it easy.
made
for
it
you.
easy for me.
All right.
That was one easy part, I guess, about being within a development like that, like Grand Pacifica.
All
To
right.
have all those connections.
Okay. All right. Cool. So then, after the house, how long have you been here now? How long ago was that?
First time I came here was in 2007.
Oh, Jesus. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, invested in that condo, ended up buying the house in 2012.
Okay.
Got it
Yeah, you told me
finished,
that, 2012.
and then ended up buying this house, which is across the street from the other house, which I now use as a rental property. bought this house in 2017, I believe it was. So I've been in this house for almost 7 years now.
So you're all in. You love it. You love the area. You're like, dude, this is it. This is my spot. I got houses here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah, I do. I did marry a Nicaraguan that, we dated for a few years and ended up getting married. And so I'm here, full time pretty much. I go back to, the States to visit my business and family fairly often. But this is my home. I mean, this is where we want to be. And
dude, how did that come up? I mean, like, so you guys get here, and how do you start meeting people? How was it all through this place? Your social life? You said you was it difficult creating a social life for yourself here? I know it's easier inside of this type of community, right? But outside of the community, was it hard for you to pick up a social life, or did that just how did that happen?
It more so happened when I met my wife.
Okay.
And because she's from one of these local communities, she's from not far from here, and so she grew up there. She's an athlete. She knows everybody in these communities, and so having that connection with her made getting to know other people in the community much easier. Even though when we first got together, I knew no Spanish, so I knew cerveza, baño, the essentials.
You said cerveza and baño. That's right.
Yeah. So it was funny, being with her and going to visit her family or friends and sitting there and not having a clue what anybody's saying. So we went through that for a long time, but I was thrown into it, and therefore I learned Spanish in that way, using a lot of Google Translator back and forth and in conversations initially, and just started learning and picking it up, and now I can communicate, and not too many problems. Not too many problems. Being able to communicate is really nice.
It's clutch,
because
right?
you meet people in these communities, and they're great people, and they're all laughing, having a good time, and you don't understand what the heck they're saying. It's like, you want to be involved. You want to say something funny too, but you don't know how to say it. So being able to, joke around and have fun with them is, it's a great experience. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
fun people.
Morgan, my wife, when we first moved here, we had the hostels. For many years, everybody around her was English speaking. We all, so she didn't really take off. But when she joined that softball league with your wife, and her being the only gringa in the league, like she would come home every week with like new phrases. Like she was learning, that's being immersed in it and thrown into it. You know what I mean? That's when she really started to speak the language. And like you were saying, that's when you saw her friends and the laugh and the joking. And all that. So you
develop great relationships, and through the athletics around too. That's a great way to meet people. Going to the different athletic events and getting involved. Like Morgan did, and then her shirt saying La Gringa on the back of it instead of her name.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's surprising, man, because here the local crowd, they're like, so they don't have 500 channels at home and PlayStation, you know what I'm saying? So on a Sunday at these local sporting events, the whole town is everybody. It's like a thing. Oh, yeah. Like there's people selling hot dogs, the whole community out, and they're not just there. Like they know the stats, they know who play, like everybody, the whole time. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, that community is really cool. I like that. It is really cool.
It is a lot of fun. It's I've been involved with some of the coaching on their teams and playing with the local baseball teams and softball teams, and it's a lot of fun. They take it pretty serious. Some of these communities are really behind their team, and they let you know it.
That's so awesome, though. That's so awesome.
It is fun. One of the things too that I really like about here is it seems like everybody's on. I say everybody's on a level playing field. It's not so much that everybody's on a level playing field, because obviously you have, the people in the local communities, they may live in a house that has some block or some metal or maybe even some plastic, helping enclose their home, no air conditioning, nothing like that. But it's the way they grew up, and they don't feel like they're deprived. They don't feel like they're, just poverty stricken or anything like that. It's their life. They're happy. They have their family and their friends, and they have enough to survive on. They don't have mortgages, insurance payments, car payments. They don't have any of these things, and they're perfectly happy. Maybe they ride a horse to work. I mean, believe it or not, that's reality around here sometimes. It is what it is. But it seems like, because even if you are somebody that comes here and you have a lot of money, and it's kind of different. To me, personality wise and dealing with people, I don't look at people as being up here or down here, or like so much of the judging that we have back in our countries. It's more, I look at everybody equally. I mean, until they prove to me that I shouldn't, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I get along with everybody. I have really no problems with anybody around here, and it's just nice to have where you don't, even the poorest people don't necessarily feel like they're a lesser class than others. Or maybe it's that I don't look at them like they're a lesser class than others, and to me they don't seem like they feel like they are either. I could go talk to somebody that lives down the street in a plastic house, and feel like I'm talking to somebody that's equal to me. I don't feel like I'm any better than this person, and it's I don't feel like there's, I guess, so much classing and judgment of people as that we typically see in some of our,
In the States?
Yeah, in the States.
Yeah. Well, no, for a lot of first world countries are like that, absolutely. They judge a person based on their value of materialistic things, on what they have. And if they don't have that, then they're looked at differently, especially in the United States. Whereas here, it's more like we all understand struggle. If you've ever heard the quote, you have no idea how much violence it took to make me this peaceful. Right?
Sure.
So in saying that, a lot of violence and a lot of crazy stuff is just mute. You know what I'm saying? You know it's there, so we could just be peaceful. We know it exists. You know what I'm saying? So here, everybody's fucked up. We are all in a struggle, so we can take each other for what we
that's
are.
That's what it is, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, we know what it is. So everybody just accept. You're in the struggle, I'm in the struggle, fuck it. Let's drink a beer and be in that together and laugh and so on. So yeah, I get that. I can see that.
Yeah, I feel like all levels can get together and have good conversation and enjoy each other and
definitely
get along. Yeah, everybody's got their struggles and everybody's got to work through them. And
so, talking about all that, do you work here or do you work at home still? What do you do? How does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, I have a business in the U.S. in the Atlanta area that I built from 18 years old, and it's in the moving and storage business. But now I've got my daughter pretty much runs the daily operations there. She's been working for me for about 13 years now, and that allows me to spend time away. And so, I mean, I still work on a daily basis, but I can, work through internet. Luckily, we have pretty good internet, and I can answer emails.
So you're not retired yet. You're still kind of in the grind.
Totally, yeah, I would say I'm semi-retired.
Semi-retired, okay.
Getting there. I'm getting there. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I mean, I go back to the States probably once every month and a half or so, something like that, for a week or 10 days, and come back.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you do while you're here then? What's your day to day? Like, you wake up and what do you do? If the work's at home, what do you do here?
Yeah. No, I mean, I probably involve myself in way too much, honestly, but we did buy some property, about 23 acres. It's about 10 kilometers from here, and we started a farm up there. Never thought I was going to be a farmer, but my wife loves animals and planting, and it's turned into a really cool spot, surrounded by a river. And if I was in the States and tried to do that, I mean, it would cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars,
And it's not even just the cost of it. The cost of it's like part one.
Yeah.
It's the permits. It's the jumping through headaches of what you need to do.
Complications.
So much bureaucracy to have a project like that going.
Yeah, but to buy a farm like that and, build a barn and, fencing and, preparing the land to plant, building a chicken house and corrals for cows and horses, pelly way, just all kinds of stuff. It was very cost effective to do it here. I mean, I've probably got maybe $120,000 into the whole thing. And I've got a guy that lives there full time, takes care of all the animals, and he's a local guy. I actually bought the land from his family.
Okay.
And he loves it. We have a good time together, and we trust him, and he has a lot of knowledge about the things that we do out there and what needs to be done. And without him, I would be lost. I have no idea. I've never had a farm. I've never done these things. But it's a blast. We have cows that we milk, and we actually sell the milk in like Grand Pacifica and outside of Grand Pacifica to.
Yeah, my neighbors used to buy the milk. They love it.
Yeah, to expats, and it's we have Jersey cows, and we have grass-fed Jersey cow milk, and we sell raw grass-fed Jersey cow milk, and it's like the best milk you can get. I mean, and we sell it cheap. We sell it. I think we sell it for $2 a bottle, a liter, $2 a liter, and we actually, filter it all. We put it in glass milk bottles and deliver it to the residents or the people that want to do it.
So that's part of what you do during the day. You run your farm, huh?
We run the farm.
And you said something about the sports and how you're built into the community there. What do you do there?
Yeah, so like today, my wife has a kickball game. Kickball's big around here, so she has a kickball game at 2 o'clock. They'll play a doubleheader. And then she has a soccer game tonight. They call it football sala. So they play soccer on basically a basketball court with goals at each end. With obviously a smaller number of players, but so we run around doing a lot of athletic stuff. It's fun. It's not softball season right now, but softball's been big around here as well.
Yeah, softball. You guys play for like 11 and a half months of the year.
Yeah,
dude. When Morgan used to play, it was just the longest season, man. You guys go hard with softball.
They don't have like set seasons like we do. Okay, we got our season. We're going to start March 1st, we're starting baseball. Okay, maybe football's going to start in July, getting ready when school starts. They start playing their games. It's not like that here.
No.
Here it's, okay, we decided we're going to have a softball season. When that season ends, okay, when do we want to start the next one? In 2 weeks. Okay, we're going to start that in 2 weeks. I mean, these kids, they don't even get a break. Maybe they get tired of softball. They're like, okay,
and the fans demand it too.
They do. I mean, they get upset if we're not out there playing.
Yeah, the fans demand it too. Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's funny. Sometimes I'm like, oh man, are we ever going to get a break?
So you're just always busy. You got yourself involved in the community, doing sports. You're always good to go.
Yeah.
You got the farm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I got involved with our property owners association here in our community as well. There's kind of a need. There we had our developer, and then we had our residents, and there really wasn't a go-between to be that communication gap, to fill and make the, residents feel like, they had some communication and some say-so with what's going on in our resort community and that sort of thing. So that's kind of bridged the gap, and I think it's helped a lot of communication around here, and it's made things overall a better feel. There were some people that weren't real happy with the developer, but some of it may be legitimate, some of it not. A lot of it because of the economy and just, life.
Yeah.
Things
People
happen.
are different. Everybody
they
has
can't be
different
controlled,
choices,
Yeah. Some people want everything right now, and,
It takes time.
There's steps. Take baby steps,
Oh, dude, and we're island time. People have heard of island time.
Oh, yeah.
Nicaragua was so much worse than that.
Nika time.
Yeah, Nika time is a thing. It's a thing.
is.
It's slow here. I remember that was when I first moved here. I moved here purposely for that reason, to slow down. Coming out of New Jersey, just you're in fifth gear and go hard. You know what I mean? All right, so just coming out of that, I came here for that reason, but the first 3 months were still hard. Like setting up a business and running around and dealing with banks and just slow and paperwork, and I almost lost my mind a few times. But yeah,
I experienced that just a couple of days ago. We were. I was talking about we were going to have a gathering here at our house, actually tomorrow night. And I remembered that, because I was telling them, they were asking, okay, what time? And I was like, okay, we'll be here at 6 o'clock. And I was talking to some local Nicas. And then I remembered, oh, that was stupid.
That's it. They're not going to be here till like 9.
Because when I first got here and somebody would tell me, Nika would tell me, okay, yeah, we're having this gathering. We're having a birthday party for my kid. It's at 3 o'clock. And we'd show up at 3 o'clock and nobody's there, no decorations, no nothing. We're like, what the heck's going on here? And around 6 o'clock it gets going.
Yeah.
That's Nika time.
It's Nika time. It's a real thing. I know, it's crazy. So do you ever have that holy shit moment? Do you ever have that moment, man, where you look around sometimes like, wow, this is really my life? Do you have that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Sometimes, I'm like, think about, my friends and family back in the States, and, it'd be, why doesn't anybody else want to come do this? What's
Yeah.
I mean, my sons, they come and visit, and they love it here. They love coming down here. I think for some people, it's a big jump to take the plunge into leaving maybe the comfort of their job and, working for somebody and doing their thing and, trying to find a way to make it possible to come to a place like this and leave that life. I'm sure that's probably the big hurdle for most people.
Sure.
They have a dream to come to a place like this, but how are they going to survive? What are they going to do? I mean, obviously you made that happen. You didn't come here with $1 million, I'm guessing, and
Yeah.
and most of the people I know down here are like that. They've come, with a backpack or whatever, and they've made their way and made their way of life, and they're not looking for economic success or being rich. They just want to live an enjoyable, adventurous life in a foreign country in a beautiful place and enjoy life. And that's something that's definitely something that you can accomplish here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I'm sure there's people here that can make it big,
No, what I was going to
most
say
of it-
is what I've learned from doing business, and I sell real estate. I do real estate
Yeah.
here. What I've learned is with a lot of Americans, they look at R.O.I. based on dollar only. So, like, if I put in this dollar, I expect to make two back at a certain time. Or if I put in this dollar, I need to see the dollar and cents of it. And it's a large part of our culture. It's a large part of what we deal with. But being here,
Right.
I do a lot of business internationally. I deal with people from all over the world that come to purchase here. And what I've learned a lot is a lot of other countries, even our neighbors right next door, Canada, they say, okay, if I put out this $2, what quality of life? That's part of their ROI. That's part of their match.
Sure.
Which Americans, we don't do a lot of
You're
that.
right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
You're
So
right.
they'll look, okay, I'm going to pay $2, but I live dead ass on the beach. That has a value
Yeah.
to me. Do you know what I mean? Or I know that my cost of living here is X compared to whatever I pay at home. So there's a lot of cultures that come here they add that into a lot of their like makeup of what they're doing. As Americans, that's not. I put in $1. I need $1.50 back, dude. If not, it doesn't make sense. And it's not that. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe that if you could come here, and anybody, like you were saying, of where you are economically, I think if this is what you want to do, it's possible. You can make it happen. And not just here, being biased, I love my home,
Sure.
Nicaragua. But I think you can do that anywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? You can figure it out in most places. So.
I would agree with that.
Last thing for you. If somebody's thinking of doing this, something like this, something in Nicaragua, what's your advice? Where do you tell them what's your advice? What do you tell them?
I would say I wasted a lot of time not getting to know locals.
Okay.
So if you want to do this, my advice would be to make sure you get out into the local communities and don't hide yourself in a safe spot and think that you're in a safe spot and you're protected. Get out and meet the people in the communities, because it just opens up your whole world to wherever you're going. There's great people everywhere, and sometimes maybe you see what you look at as poverty, and maybe you're not, you feel unsure, or what are they going to try to steal from me? But don't have that. Don't put that on yourself, because it's not reality. Get out there and know those people and enjoy the local life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my advice.
Thanks, brother. Thank you so much for your time. Wow, man. Jason, thank you so much for your time. I wish you the very best and only sending you good vibes, man. Thank you so much. To everybody else, if you liked what you saw, just hit the like button, give me a subscribe, and if you have any questions that you want me to ask my guests in the future, please let me know, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.